Well, chat, we still have an off season to go through. Let's move on and leave 2028 behind as best we can. In terms of retired players, obviously, if they're Hall of Fame bound, like they would have been gone already, but like Erod's gone, Stroman. Do we have any Hall of Famers in 2028? We do not. Tukey the Gracious, apparently. Yeah, I'm a great guy. Okay, in terms of staff, we still have the holdover. We do have an option here, though, in terms of exclusive free agents. We have a shitload of money available. How much is Brett Martin looking for? Actually, that was like the worst season ever for us. We win the division, get swept by Little Brother, and then Houston wins the World Series. It was pretty bad. Martin could be used, but I got to be honest, we might just let him go and see what other options are out there because we do have some younger guys who are getting ready. So we are going to let go of Brett Martin. I think we're also going to let go of Garrett Mitchell. His overall just plummeted. We wouldn't get a qualifying offer for him. He's 30 years old. He's coming off of his worst season at the plate in 4 years. Now is the right time to just move on from Garrett Mitchell. I was hoping to get something for him. But yeah, I think we can afford to move on from Garrett. I mean, again, good outfielder, good speed. But we do have Kevin Simmons. We have Miguel Dew, Chase DeLauder, Blay, Hunter, Hubert McDonald, that is. We have no space for Garrett Mitchell. So he's going to be gone as well. Nick Sandlin. And the whip was fantastic. He got a lot of fucking help by that defense. He is very inconsistent. Only wants $3.2 million a year. Got to be honest, I think I might let go of Sandlin as well. He is just very inconsistent. He wants term. Not feeling it. Whitlock, we're going to do the same thing that we've done before with him. We're going to qualify him to hope to get a compensation pick, and if it doesn't happen, then hey, he comes back. But we're going to drop the other three for now. Pretty straightforward. Pretty straightforward. So free agency. Starting pitcher top option is 29-year-old Grayson Rodriguez, who, of course, is pretty damn good. You could argue our need for a 29-year-old. Top options I will explore in a minute. We are first going to look at... We're first going to look at players that might have snuck through, and then we'll look at what we can do in terms of big money spending. So let's start off by looking for younger players before we contemplate big money. Even like Joey Riley, 18C and a 61's not that bad. Because we do have some starting pitchers who are graduating. 4 relievers, Joe Jimenez, Penn Murphy, Clark Schmidt. There are some decent relievers out there. They are pretty much all veterans, though. So those would be short-term deals. That's why the Garrett deal was very nice, because he was going to be, well, 29 heading into the next season. And, well, unfortunately, outside of Mackenzie Gilly, I don't know if we're really going to have much available for any of these younger players. You know what I just fucking realized? I totally forgot to go and look at every other team. I didn't see anybody in chat mention that either. I was so distraught by our failure of a draft pick that we forgot to look at all the other teams. Shout out to Edgar Pinero. We're going to offer this kid a shitload of money right out of the gates to make sure that we get him. Because that is a gift of a closer who is just right there for the taking. So that would be a tremendous bit of business. These rosters should be set. So I can actually look at the youngest players. I can. Because De Jesus is there. I don't even want to fuck. I might cut him. It's not his fault, but I might cut him. I did do a save close to the deadline. I think we can just look by age. So San Francisco. Anybody with like a B potential? Alex Lucas, Jason Ford. Not quite as interesting to look this way. I might just look at the top prospect list. I don't know. Baltimore. Honestly, I'm going to scroll through this relatively fast. If we see someone with an A potential, Jerome Stone wasn't in this most recent draft. If we see someone with an A potential, Sam Johnson was that closer. 22 into 63 is kind of rough, though. If we see anybody with a super high potential, like Robbie Brayman would have been a much better pick at 3rd overall than who the hell we took. But yeah. Fernando Torres, Raimo, these guys weren't recent draft picks. Tampa, Tim Gallegos. Oh my God, they also got Connor Gagnon, who super low overall. Anybody else that's overly interesting? No. Toronto, decent younger 3rd baseman. I don't think Jonas Zamora was in that draft, but he looks pretty damn good. Sebastian Guevara as a starter. Yeah, the Blue Jays are looking okay. White Sox, Felipe Valdez, the shortstop. He would have been better than who we went for. Okay, no, but I hope Soul Control is not here still. Because this was the... Soul, are you still here? You have the right, if you ever meet me in person, Soul, you have the right to punch me in the fucking face. Because you were right about Todd Kelly. You were right to trust the beard. Shout out to the White Sox. Is Duff that much of a bust? Yes. Super, mega, ultra bust is the only way to put it. Sean Pipp was only a 65. A potential, though. Can I skip this time? I'm going to skip out. I got to be honest. I'm depressed. I can't look. I can't look at any more of these prospects from this last draft. I'm depressed. I'm skipping out on the rest of it. I'm sorry. If there was anybody specifically that you remember from the first round, if you want chat right now live, go back in the VOD and be like, oh, how good was this guy? Let me know what team he was drafted to. We'll go look. Otherwise, it is absolutely depressing to look at anybody else that we could have gone for. At catcher, Francisco Alvarez at 27 years old. This might be... It's a shame that Del Villar is a D potential. This might be the first year that we kind of go after some bigger free agents. There are some younger catchers that are kind of mid. That's about it. None of these other guys, I'm sure, have that high of a potential. No, they don't. First base, Jose Miranda is the gem of the first base class. Again, when the hell will they add in the ability to sort by fucking age? So it leaves me having to do nonsense like this. Second baseman, Nolan Gorman. The gem of the class at 28 years old. Well, in terms of dudes who snuck through the cracks, this game is deciding to be a little bit nice right now, which I thank them for. Robert Cowan was the guy that we had scouted who rejected to sign with me. I got to be honest, I don't even know if I want him. I got to see how many second basemen we have. Third base, the gem, former Red Sox prospect, Yohan Moncada. Let's double check ages here. Rafael Mateo, who again I tried to get to develop. Valentine. Johnny Page is a third baseman. He's okay. I'm going to send an interest offer to him. No guarantees I sign him. Shortstop, Gunnar Henderson's there at 27 years old. The problem is we already have Marcelo Meyer. We do. That's not worth it based on the fact that I am not actively doing trades myself. Ellie De La Cruz is also there. But I doubt I go after Gunnar Henderson. I doubt it. So don't get your hopes up. Don't get your hopes up. Joel James was not the worst prospect I've seen in the world. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Not the worst one I've ever seen. In left, the Gems, Yordan Alvarez and Corbin Carroll. Oh, Gunnar Henderson's going to want a max offer. And we already have Marcelo Meyer on the team. That is very, very expensive to try and work, given I'm trying to not rob the AI blind of their trades, with trades. So that is a predicament. Center field, Byron Buxton is the top option there. No, he's not the only good one either. Any interesting prospects? Samuel Reyes in center is okay. Again, I don't know if I'm going to sign him for sure. And then in right, Ronald Acuna at 31 years old is also available. Nobody great in right from the looks of it. There is Trey Cabbage, but he is older. Okay. So we do have quite a few offers out there. I do need to cut a couple of people off of the roster. We'll have to sort out the 40-man and stuff like that. Now that we have Kincaid at catcher, there is a lot to sort out. I think I've already gotten rid of all the D potential prospects, so we're going to be looking at cutting lower overall C's. Especially Scott fucking Duff. Fucking hate you. God, I hate you with a passion. Let me double check something really quickly. We knew this offseason would be a little bit more difficult. I mean, yeah, they're kind of all over the place. Is there anybody who makes more sense? Hernandez is still under contract. I mean, he's a really good choice. Second choice catcher. Chris Valley, who we drafted before. I mean, do we really want to bank on him making it? I mean, he's worse than Eddie Diaz. I think for anybody in free agency that's a C, unless it's a high position of need, we can withdraw that offer. So like Matthews, Reyes, Page, Riley, Calderon. We can cut those out and just go with those 5. So as far as I know, I'll only need to fucking Duff. We'll get rid of someone like Valdez. I will keep Duff out of spite so I can control and ruin his career. So in terms of any bigger contracts, right? Because that's kind of the big discussion now. At catcher, I mean, we have a 79 overall catcher, right? And a 78 behind him. It's kind of a weird spot to be in. It's a weird spot to be in where do we, have the depth? I mean, we're not paying them that much. First base, we have Tristan Casas. I mean, I'm not going for anybody else. And we got a lot of guys in the system. Second base is Nick York. We could look for an improvement on Nick York because we still kind of lack that elite level second baseman in the system. Third base wise, David Chen's my guy, man. I mean, you could argue, hey, if you can find somebody better, do it. But shortstop, we have Marcelo Meyer. We're not going for anyone else. In left, we have Kevin Simmons, who we're building up. In center, I don't know. It's already a little bit tied up at center. And then in right, we got McDonald, DeLauder. Like, there's no moves to make there. Starting pitchers, I'd argue we don't really need anybody. Rodriguez, Asensio, Hubbard as the big 3. We don't want to force one of them out of a good developmental position. The only thing that I think we could really look at is a reliever or 2. So, in free agency, again, I know Francisco Alvarez is out there. He wants a lot of money, man. So does MJ. Of course, we had Corey Lee. I would consider Alvarez. I mean, again, Wells, Hernandez, they're both a little bit older. We're not paying either of them that much money. And it's very clear now that the team is on that playoff trajectory, right? Like, there's no choice. There's no point in trying to be bad now. It's like, all right, let's be as good as we can be. We have control of Wells and Hernandez, though, for a good amount of time. So that's the issue, right? We could keep it cheap at catcher. Casas gets a big deal after next year. York, contract control for a little bit. Meyer gets a big contract at the end of next year. DeLauder, too. MJ would just be expensive, that's all. But I'm considering it. Second base, Nolan Gorman. Actually, really quickly, with Alvarez, we know you're good attribute-wise. 30 home runs, 765 OPS. It's tough to argue against him. Nolan Gorman, who's 28. 36 home runs, 90 RBIs. I mean, you could argue Gorman's also worth the upgrade. Third base, Moncada, but he's 33. There's nobody at third base that I'd want to sign long term. Center field is Byron Buxton, but the man's 35. I wouldn't play Alvarez or Carroll out of position. So we're good in center. That leaves relievers. And unfortunately, everyone's pretty goddamn old. I mean, Matt Brash at 30 years old does appear to be fantastic. Only two I'm really considering signing are Brash and Alvarez. I mean, Gorman is technically there too. So we got three guys we're considering going after here. But is it worth going after Gorman when we know that York is going to keep getting better? He was one of our best players. I don't want to screw over Nick York. He was one of our better players last year. He's earned that spot. It's down to Brash and Alvarez. Now we're going to spend the big money on Alvarez. Honestly, Wells is fine. Hernandez, defense first. Would like to get rid of one of them, though, if we do sign Alvarez. First and foremost, we know that we're going after Matt Brash. Interest-wise, doesn't change at all. The man just wants to get paid, really. I drop it back to 6-1. 3-year deal for him is apparently the sweet spot. Unless I'm going to offer like a 9 or 10-year deal. We can go 3 years for Brash. Even give him a player option at $6 million a year. I don't hate that. If he plays the way he's been playing, he'll be fine. Gorman, for the record, only wants $13 million, but I don't care. But maybe I do. It wouldn't be fair at all to York, but I think maybe we do just have to splash the cash on free agency now. I kind of have to. I kind of have to if you think about it, because again, we're too good to be bad now. We are where we started, except we do have a refueled prospect cupboard. Or refueled. I don't know why you're putting fuel in the cabinet, but Alvarez. Mr. Alvarez. In theory. If I were to backload this deal at 27 years old for 15 fucking years. Okay, he starts to gain interest back at 4 years. I know he's qualified. I was just looking. The problem is, though, our draft pick's not going to be that good. But no, I mean, they get the compensation offer, but let's be honest. Me with a high draft pick. Is it even worth having a high draft pick nowadays? Is it? I don't think it is. I don't think it is worth banking on a high draft pick. You know? I don't think it is. Hasn't worked out too well for us lately. God. You had better picks without draft info. MJ would be like $25 to $27 million a year. That is fucking expensive for a catcher, man. Especially who has a career high OP. I don't think I can do it, man. That's so expensive for a catcher. It's not like he hits the lights out. He's fine. I can't. I know 30 home runs, man, but I can't give up that much money to a catcher plus the compensation who's not going to just destroy worlds. So Brash, I think, is going to be our only option. Because Gorman was also qualified. Brash is going to be my only guy. Granted, there was a qualifying offer for him too, wasn't there? Well, let's just move on then and look for the younger option, shall we? Particularly this trio of A's, especially Pinero and Baez. Oh, God. All right. Really quickly. Hopefully. For those who need arbitration, Roger, we're looking at $3.8 million for 3 years. He wants to be the ace of our staff. I'm going to tell you get to be rotation for the moment. Anthony K, I can keep you for 1 more year at $3.4 million, which is fine. Dakota Hudson, you weren't that good. Colin Poche, you weren't that good either. We're going to let go of you. In terms of contracts, and actually, since we know that we're letting go of Hudson, let's go ahead and let go of him. We'll let go of Colin. And again, we can have more long relievers as well. I might change my mind on the contracts. We'll see. Bob Asensio, got to pay you a little bit more. You're going to be a major leaguer this year. So was Hubbard. Jimmy Denton, a 3-year deal at $780, $800K. That's fine. Got to pay Willie Napier a little bit more. Mr. McFarland. Brian Mata at 29 years old. I'll still sign you because we have a lot of contract control and you're good for the AAA roster, I guess. Mr. Kruger, Evan Huff. Just a bunch of dudes to sign. Mr. Ellison. Definitely not going to pay you that much. We got Floyd Tremaine. We got Carrara. Bobby Spabori. Robbie Garcia. And Bart Mays, who is desperately still trying to develop. We got Jacob Webb as a reliever. Really don't want to pay you that much. We got Tupman, Lutz, and Mitra. I mean, some of these guys might not develop at all. Durbin Feltman. Try not to pay you that much. Oviedo. Keep it cheap for you. And our boy, Doug Brown. The future. The future. Emil Chavez. Let's get you back. Eric Blank. Eddie Diaz. Just try to, for the most part, bring people back. Sort out the roster from there. But yeah, I don't know if we do want to go for that big free agent signing. I do, but compensation-wise, who we already have in each spot, it's a little bit rough. Like I said, $25 million for Alvarez at catcher is just rough when he's an okay to good hitter, but he's not elite. That's a lot of money to pay for a catcher. I mean, granted, you're paying for he can hit well and he can field well. He's not elite in either aspect. I mean, that is valuable, but I don't know. Keep Sogard around for the moment, just in case we need that depth option. Got to pay Guzman a little bit. Mr. Middleton. Going to be getting the road to the show a little bit late tonight, but you know what? That's okay. That is okay. Mr. Logan will pay you a little bit more. Chavez, even though you're complete trash. Got to pay Gio. James Nunn. Miguel Dew. 2 years, 800K, not bad. Simmons probably only going to have like one more season in AAA before he's ready. It's a weird spot to be in. Acevedo, Victor Mesa. I just don't want to lose you for free because you're too valuable for 800K. Merrill Shavitz. We got Phil Kemp. Paul Kemp. You're Phil now. Sorry, Paul, but you are now known as Phil. I'm literally going to go in and change your player name to Phil. Hubert. Boy, don't we need him to develop after the nightmare of last season. But, all right. Contracts, good. Contracts, good. Arbitration, good. 40-man-wise... I hope there's no other B potential guy it's showing that we're missing. I'd be pretty mad if I lose someone for no reason. Let's move forward a couple of days. Nothing too crazy yet. We have until November 23rd until we really got to be worried. Nolan Gorman. It's a damn good deal for the Mariners. It is. But, again, was he already... I don't remember if he was already with the Mariners or if it was going to be the compensation or whatever, but... It's a pretty damn good deal for Seattle, I gotta be honest. They also get Jose Miranda at first for also a good deal, so shout out to Seattle. Gunnar Henderson gets a just under max contract from the St. Louis Cardinals. Jake McCarthy on his way to Cleveland. Ronald Acuna to the Padres. California teams keep getting stronger. George Kirby goes to the Mets. Garrett Whitlock returns. As Anthony Kay is still holding out, so we will submit an arbitration offer. And Edwards is the only dude to hold out contract-wise. So 40-man, we're going to hope that we're okay, but I didn't think I was going to lose anyone. Alvarez, $26 million a year for 6 years with Toronto. Power hitter, man, but I don't know. Maybe that was a mistake to not go for him. I can admit that. But to me, that's a hell of a lot of money. When, in some regards, was he really that much better than who we already had? Is the question. Tanner Hawk traded for Trevor Larnach. Kind of just a swap. Grayson Rodriguez is there in Toronto. $29 million a year for 9 years. Grayson Rodriguez, big deal for the Blue Jays. We're going to keep moving forward. Nathaniel Lowe, acquired by the Astros for Forrest Whitley and a pretty trash outfielder, so nothing too crazy there. Harrison Bader, acquired by the Brewers for Jake Shiner and Ryan Murphy. I mean, that's a good deal for the Brewers. Blue Jays get Josh Rojas at third base for a very good pitching prospect. And Stephen King, the legend. I forgot about him. That's a pretty bad deal for the Blue Jays. I mean, unless they're looking to win the World Series. And they also signed Moreno. They missed the playoffs, so they're being pretty aggressive. They also acquired Tyler O'Neill for Ezekiel Tovar and Richard Matsumoto. So the Blue Jays are pissed that they made the playoffs and are making all the moves. Contreras goes to Baltimore. Riley Green to Miami. That brings us to the Rule 5. And a lot of people are going. I am going to make sure that I trade to get Antoine Hubbard back because that's bullshit. Losing Gio Conrad is whatever, but yeah, I'm not going to lose the guy because it's showing me terrible players first, and I don't want to put them on the 40-man. So we'll be making a deal with the Diamondbacks. But who is available here that might be half decent? If anybody. If anybody. Jesus Villafuerte at first base is actually good. I don't know how we fit another first baseman onto the roster. Our own boy Clinton Franks. I mean, if he were to get taken, that's just whatever at that point. Edwin Rios at third base. Third base is looking pretty bad. Pretty bad indeed. Shortstops. Sergio Alcantara. Nothing crazy. Nobody in left. Nobody in center. Nobody in right. Starting pitchers, I mean, Willie Napier's there, which again, I would have left him unprotected to keep my other guy. Anybody else overly interesting? Jaden Hill. I think I am going to take that first baseman and try to make that work. Reliever-wise, it's also not so hot. Yeah, not so hot. I'm going to take that first baseman for the moment in Jesus Villafuerte and just see if it'll work. So that is it for the Rule 5. Cool beans. Exit the draft. Yeah, Arizona. I don't know if I have Force Trade back on, but you have a guy that I did not give up. And I would like him back. If I am able to even do that. Kevin Simmons. Oh, fuck. Austin Wells. Kevin Simmons. Nick York. Johnny McMahon. Pablo Carrera. Motherfuck. Can I put Force Trade back on? Again, not too happy with the way the Rule 5 works. Yeah, Force Trade, I don't believe can be turned on. Well, I'll have to make a decision there, won't I? I would really prefer not to lose that guy, given that I literally just said they were a part of the plan. But Emil Chavez could be the backup catcher. Wells was decent last year, but kind of let us down. Hernandez was the only player we had to pick up an RBI. That's a tough call. If I look at just prospect suggested trades. Okay, I'll take that at least. So we'll get Antoine Hubbard back. We got to give up Mike Dennis, Clinton Franks, and Darren Hester, but the only guy that might develop is Mike Dennis, and it won't be anytime soon. So give me back Antoine Hubbard. You can kind of get the bottom of our freaking roster in terms of prospects. We'll go back over here in case for the trades. Karinchak on his way to the Pirates. Looks like they gave up a decent first baseman to get him. Randy Arozarena goes to Toronto. Oh, that's good. That's good. We've had an interesting time, and now the Blue Jays are adding. That's wonderful. They also... Oh, my God. Well, I don't think the Blue Jays will finish last in the division this year. Penn Murphy goes to Philadelphia. O'Neal Cruz to the Giants as California, north of the border, they keep spending money. Anthony Santander to the Mariners. Austin Hayes to the Marlins. Corbin Carroll goes out to California. De La Cruz to Houston. Jesus. To be signed in to be useful. We did get, as far as I am aware, we did get some fantastic prospects a while ago. We got Edgar Pinero, an A-rated closer. Mackenzie Gilly for the bullpen. Robert Count. We did pretty well, actually. Abraham Baez at second base. We didn't sign anybody major, but we did end up bringing in some prospects. Manny Machado goes to Houston, just when you thought he couldn't be any more unlikable. And that will bring us to spring training. We have some decisions to make yet again about this roster. At catcher, we're still looking serviceable. Again, we did not go for the big money deal of Alvarez, but I also don't think that we needed to. I mean, again, Alvarez, sure, more home runs, but he wasn't that much better at the plate, all things considered, than Austin Wells. And again, we have a couple of prospects in the mix here. We'll see what happens. Some people are going to have to go. Probably the see potential dudes. We'll see. First base, Tristan Casas. And then, honestly, quite a few other guys that are major league ready. We picked up Jesus Villafuerte in the Rule 5. I don't know if I can keep him. I don't know if I can. Second base, Nick York. Again, played better than his overall. He deserved another chance at second. And now we have Abraham Baez behind him. So I'm happy about that. Third base, Nolan Jones. I'm good with holding on to him. It's going to be him and Chen in the majors this year. And we are going to try to trade Jones to just let Chen be the guy. See if he develops. Still have Meyer at shortstop, which I'm happy about. Left field, I still think we're a year away from Simmons, but we do have Miguel Dew. Rafaela is still there. Mesa Jr., Duran, And then right, well, it gets a bit more interesting with the Louder, Blay, and Hubert McDonald. So that's just a little bit more interesting. Pitching-wise, Whitlock, Rodriguez, Bayo, Bush, Asensio, and Hubbard will probably be on the Major League roster this year. Honestly, even Jimmy Denton might make it. Bullpen. It looks a bit rough, but it's not that bad. Again, the top three are serviceable. It won't be the worst bullpen in the majors, is now how I might have to sort it. But I'll have the team ready for tomorrow. We might make the playoffs again. The bottom line is, franchise-wise tonight is summed up by this fucking guy right here. The biggest bust of a draft pick that I have ever seen. There it is. There's the picture. They always say a picture. The picture's worth 1,000 words. It's worth 1,000,000. A gazillion bajillion words. But there's only one word that sums it up properly. Fuck.